What's going on, guys? This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs. It is 10 o'clock Eastern on a Tuesday night. Just thought I'd take a break from this listing madness of trying to hit my March goal and come to you guys with a video. I've been really reflecting on some of the mistakes I made early on in my reseller career. It's been funny through some of the questions and watching Shannon and just kind of watching the development of her business has made me reflect on some of the things that I really missed on early on. And I thought it was a good chance. I needed a break from listing, and I wanted to just talk about something that I'm passionate about and hopefully add some value and help some people out who are starting off and share some pitfalls they can hopefully avoid. So I'm going to let people filter in here. Let's say we got about 16 right now. Hopefully my sound is okay and everyone can hear me. Let me know if you can't. Hi, Zach. Thanks for stopping in. Hi, Tony. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Rad Seller, and of course, hi, Terry. Thank you for stopping in. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. I don't have to say hi to Shannon. She's sitting downstairs right now. So this has been, hey, Brian, this has been a crazy week. This is the back-to-back months that I have kind of put my back against the wall for hitting my listing goal. I vowed to not let this happen in April. This time, at least, I had family in town, so it was a good reason. But I've got about 100 listings to go between tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. And I prepped about 40 pair of jeans today. So I'll finish listing those after this video. Hopefully put a big dent in it. What's going on, Edward? Hi, Alfred. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Drummer. All right, we got 28 people. I'm going to jump in and start with number 3 on my list here, and I'll work my way down to number 1. And hopefully these will help. I think this will be targeted to any seller, but definitely to new sellers. And I think that it'll help add money back in your pocket in the long run. Hi, Fabian. Thanks for stopping in. So I'll start with number 3. So number 3 for me, and I've even recently have learned more about this, but not taking the time as a reseller, specifically around eBay. And I guess those of you new to my channel, I'm sorry, we're quite a bit in here, but I sell part-time on eBay, men's clothing, and I have a full-time job as a finance analyst in the corporate world, and I build my business in my spare time. So anyways, pivoting back to number 3, one of the big mistakes that I've made pretty much continuously since I started reselling, and I've gotten really sharp at it in the last, I would say, like 6 months, is I didn't explore and understand all of the shipping options available to me through USPS, through their free supplies, through supplies I could buy. And so holistically, I didn't understand all the different options I had to get an item from me to my customer in the cheapest, most efficient way possible. And the 2 things that I've lost out on, and I'll dive into detail a little more, the 2 things that I've really lost out on is money for not picking the cheapest option all the time, and time for not having the right supplies to package with and maneuver through quickly. And I think that this week specifically, having an Alfred, yes, regional A and B boxes, I'm going to talk about those here in a minute. So one thing for me I've realized this week, because I'm just trying to get so many listings done and trying to ship in between, is if you don't have a smooth shipping process, which I have now, but I didn't have, it takes so much time. Like if you don't have your inventory system right and you don't have the supplies you need, you don't have your poly bags lined up and all your different options you might need for the one-offs, it's a huge difference. And so for me, just at a quick high level, I use self-sealed poly bags, so I don't have to use tape for, any item that isn't a flat rate envelope, basically. I use a clear poly bag that I don't have to tape because it has a flap lock on it and it slides in a self-sealed poly bag. And then if it needs to go from that package that it's in to something different, then I can put it in a box and tape it. I can put it in a regional box. I can put it in a flat rate envelope, cardboard or padded. Yes, I know there's lots of arguments about the cardboard ones, but I've been using them just fine for a really long time. So I think that knowing the supplies to use makes your life infinitely smoother in the long run. You gain more time back in your business. And so I just strongly, strongly encourage from the supply side to do your homework up front, put in the work, the extra time, the extra research, watch some other sellers, watch some, links to different things that work well for different sellers, and put that process in up front, because you're going to gain hundreds of hours. And I'm serious about this. If you resell for a while, you're going to gain hundreds of hours in the future back into your pocket to make money from if you put in the processes now on the front end when you're just starting out. Don't wait until your inventory is out of control. Don't wait until you're packaging 10 items a night. Don't wait. Like, Figure it out right now. And, Shannon's actually kind of going through that now. When we first started out our first day, and I'm going to embarrass her a little bit, she's like, no, I have my way. I know how I want to do it. And it's slowly evolved closer to my method of how I do it. She has her own. She's very stubborn, which I do appreciate about her. But it's just one of those things where it's like, you need to figure it out what works for you. And what's going to work for her is probably going to be a bit different than me, simply from the items she's selling, the type of items, what her schedule looks like. But figure out what works for you. And to piggyback on that, not to beat a dead horse, but also knowing your shipping options. So, I want to go back to the regional A boxes. Here, I've been reselling on eBay for quite a few years, very seriously for the last year and a half. I had no idea about regional A and regional B boxes. How I could not know, I feel like I don't know. But I mean, I would consider myself an experienced seller, and I had no idea. I can't imagine the amount of suits that I have sent out just send them out priority in a poly bag, and could have saved $2, $3, $4, $5 a suit just by using a regional A box. And I've been using a lot of the regional A's and regional B's lately. I ordered as many from USPS.com as I could, and I have them in my garage. And when I need them, it saves me a couple bucks each time. So, do your research on those options. Stock up on the padded flat rates. You only can get those from USPS.com. USPS.com, by the way, register for an account. It's free. They have free shipping supplies. They have free padded bubble wrap mailers that are priority. Free almost any type of box size. I ordered the shoe boxes from there. And I'm going to do a detailed supply video in the future, just not right now. But I ordered the shoe boxes in bulk because I ship all my shoes to them for the most part. The flat rate ones in bulk, as many as they'll let me, the flat rate paddeds. And then I just started ordering the regional A's and the regional B's. And just stock up on them so you have them. So you're not scrambling at the last minute when something sells that you didn't think was going to sell or is an odd shape. Like, make sure you have it all. And when you go in to purchase your shipping labels, look at every option. Make sure your weight is dialed in correctly. Make sure you see what you have and what is the cheapest option for you. And that's a great one. Is it Gerson or Gerson? I hope I pronounced your name right. I probably butchered it. But yeah, you can schedule a free pickup with USPS, right? They'll come the same time they drop off your mail. They'll pick it up as long as you designate where it's going to be. I haven't actually done that myself, because we have an overnight drop bin at a post office near me. So that just is easier for me. But if you don't have that, definitely check out that. So that's number 3. I know that was very long-winded, but it has cost me countless hours and probably hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars in shipping mistakes over the years. So hopefully if I just could save you a couple bucks or hundreds of dollars or hundreds of minutes, it's worth it if you're watching this. I hope that it helps you. So that's number 3. We've got 52 people watching live. I appreciate you guys stopping in. Thank you very much. All right, so that was number 3. I'm going to jump to number 2. For me, and let me make sure I do this in order. I have them typed out. All right. Where did it go? I lost my list. Okay, there it is. I'm sorry. I had the wrong spreadsheet up. I apologize. I want to make sure I did them in order. So for me, number 2, one of the biggest mistakes I made was not tracking my progress. And I know I mentioned this in a different video, but I want to really dive deep into what that means. I kind of just flew blind on what I would source. So I'd watch videos, I'd see a brand, I'd recognize it from Raikin or from someone else, and I'd go source and pick it up. I'd list it when I could. I'd do 10 here, 1 here, 4 here. I never really had a defined goal with it. I never really had a defined schedule, amount of time, anything like that I dedicated to it. And I never really tracked it. So I'd get 6 months into my business, a year into my business, and I had no idea how many items I was listing each month. So I couldn't look and be like, hey, I sold 1,000 this month, but only 400 next month. What gives? Why did that happen? I wasn't keeping track to even know. Did I list a ton of items at the front end of the last month and I didn't in the back end, and now my sales are slowing down because there's not fresh inventory? I didn't look at my margin. I wasn't keeping track of my cost of goods sold very well. I wasn't keeping track of my selling price, my average selling price. So I wasn't able to forecast into the future about where my business was headed. I had no idea with my buying decisions on if the cost of items was profitable or not. So one of the big changes that I've made since, I would say, last September, August timeframe of 2016, and you guys, if you've watched any of my sales update videos, check one of them out, and I have a spreadsheet in there, and I track all my progress. And I track how many items I list, how many items sell each day, what the sell price is, how many I bought, what the average cost is, and I compare it against, what I've sold for the month. And that way on a daily basis, I see the ebbs and flow of my business directly related to the output that I'm giving, right? So the effort that I'm exerting. And being able to do that, my business has grown in leaps and bounds because I'm able to adjust my goals. I'm adjusting the type of item I'm sourcing. I'm looking at jeans, men's jeans, and going, man, men's jeans are selling drastically better than women's for me. I'm going to spend more time on men's jeans and sourcing them. Not passing up women's, but I might be a little pickier on women's. The lower, like the Levi end women's versus the Levi men's for me, I'm noticing sell at about 15% less, maybe 20% less. So now I'm cutting out a lot of the Levi's women's jeans and I'm just buying the higher end women's jeans, whereas I'll buy lower end men's stuff. But if you're not tracking and thinking about that, you're not tracking how many items you're listing every month or every day and seeing how that makes your sales go up and down. You don't get a sense of how your business is being driven and what the key vital behaviors are that are growing your business. So I implore you and urge you and track something, anything. You pick a metric and start small. Even if it's a big jump, you just start small. Just track how many items you list each day or how many items you bought for the week, right? Start to think about your business from a numbers perspective to make sure you're making money. So that's number 2. I waited way too long. I think my business would have grown probably 100% faster. Like that might even be conservative if I had started tracking way sooner because I would have made different behaviors for sure. Hey, Chicago Crown Hustler, thanks for stopping in. Thank you. It's going great. So Teresa asked, did you create your own spreadsheet for tracking? Yes, I did. And like I said, check out my sales update videos. I have it in there on demo. If you're interested, just feel free. You can email me at my email on the YouTube, Endless Entrepreneurs, LLC@gmail, and I will reply with it. Edward, yes, I track brands in my head now for the most part. I have a pretty good handle on what's going in and out just because I've been doing it for so long. But I would encourage you as a new seller, I would track that, right? I would track how those are trending for you, right? Because then you're going to start to see where the market's going. You're going to start to see if you're making bad buys, especially early on. And so I would encourage you to track that. So yeah, that's kind of there with that. And as far as the spreadsheet goes, guys, too, I have to apologize to everyone. I've gotten a ton of emails the last couple of days. Until I hit my listing goal this week, I'm not going to be replying to emails, and I hope no one takes offense to that. But this just comes back to when you set goals and you set priorities, like the vital behaviors that make you money have to come first. Like I actually wasn't going to do a video tonight, but I just was burned out from listing. So I'm like, all right, I want to jump on and talk to you guys and just give you some value. I like the back and forth here. So that was why I did it. But I'll reply to everyone this weekend. I'm going to be in Raleigh visiting some family. I'll have my computer with me, and I plan to reply to everyone on the weekend. So just hang tight, and I promise I'll get back to you guys. Charles Hurley said, can you explain the average costing? I will answer that question first. As soon as I'm done with number 1, I'll jump into Q&A, and I'll answer your question, Charles. That's a great question. So number 1, and then number 1 for me, I wish that, I don't know. I wish that I had. What is going on here? Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry. That was weird. For some reason, I couldn't see my broadcast backwards. Sorry about that, guys. But number 1 for me was that I set goals that were too small. And I know this goes against the train of thought. Like anyone who listens to self-development, this will make total sense to you. If you're a Grant Cardone guy, Peter Voog, even like a Jim Rohn or something like that, like if you listen to their stuff, this will make sense what I'm about to say. But I didn't realize it till probably a year ago. Probably last summer is when I really started to understand the value of setting a big goal and pushing yourself. Because I always came from the school of thought, in school was always, people tell you, hey, set attainable goals, be successful, hit things, make smart goals. Something that's measurable and achievable is great, and something realistic. Well, realistic is so arbitrary, and I feel like it's a cop-out. Like I feel like when people set realistic goals, it's kind of a cop-out. And this is going to come across harsh, and so I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I was always that way. I set those smart goals, and I always hit them. Like I did. I always hit them, and I'd make progress. And then last August, I watched a Gary Vaynerchuk video, and I just was like, okay, like I need to just get extreme. And I went from listing 100 items a month to 300, and made the jump in 1 month. Like I just did it. And I would have said, oh, that's insane. You can't do that. And now I'm listing 350 items a month. Like this month's a little crazy, but when you start setting those huge goals that in your mind were like, no way, but you just say no excuses, I'm going to do it, right? You stretch yourself and then you readjust. And what happens is, I think this is I wish 3 years ago I started doing this, because I found all these 5-minute pockets and 10-minute pockets where I was just wasting time. I wasn't doing anything adding value to my business or to my goals or pushing me closer. And what happens when you set these huge goals that you think aren't attainable, to get there, you start pushing all those 5-minute things out. You're like, crap, I can't do that anymore. I can't watch this anymore. I can't do that to get there. And so you all of a sudden, what's unrealistic becomes realistic, and all those dead weight tasks that you're wasting time with, they just slowly get pushed out, and you get used to not having them. You get used to not having them as a part of your schedule. And then you just see this exponential growth. Like last September, I had, I think, $2,800 in sales. In February, so 5 months later, in the slowest month as a clothing reseller, I had $6,000 in sales. That's over 100% growth in less than a half a year. That's not because I'm special. It's not because I'm so talented. I just exerted more effort. I trimmed out the garbage and I set a big goal. So enough of my soapbox. I just want to encourage you guys, set big goals because you can get them. Like, they seem unattainable, but there is time and you will make them happen. And I just encourage you to set those big goals. So I'm going to shift to Q&A. I'm going to stop kind of rambling here and hopefully add some good value to you guys. So I'm going to address Charles's question first, because it was a great question. He asked, and what he was referring to is, he said, how does average costing work? How do I do that? And what he's saying is that when I keep track of my cost of goods, so there's a difference. Let's back up. There's a difference between buying your cost of inventory and your cost of goods sold. So your cost of goods sold is how you calculate if you're being profitable. So like the cost of the individual item you sold is different than I bought 1,000 items this year. Those aren't all your cost of goods. That's your inventory you bought. It's not a cost of goods till you actually sell it. So hopefully that makes sense, to kind of level set there. So what I do is, instead of tracking every individual item, so when I assign this, I put like my inventory number. That's just so I can find the item. I don't actually keep track of gene number G224 all the way through the process. I don't look at my spreadsheet and go, oh, that cost me $4.99. And when it sells, I know that item was $4.99. What I do, and if you guys look at my spreadsheet from my tracker that I use, I keep track of the total number of items I buy and the total cost of the items for the year that I buy. So then at the end of the year, the end of the month, whatever period of time that I use for taxes, I take total number of items, the total cost, and I divide it. And that becomes my cost of good that I apply to my profit and loss statement, to what I report for taxes. So if I sold 2,000 items, I take that cost I calculated and I multiply it times 2,000, and that becomes my cost of goods. So hopefully that makes sense. I know I'm a very visual person, so writing it's easier, but hopefully that makes sense over video to you guys. But that's how I average cost. Tony, the email is it should be in my YouTube channel. It's Endless Entrepreneurs LLC, or no, it's EE Entrepreneurs LLC at Gmail. All right, so let me scroll through here. And if I miss questions, I apologize. Feel free to retype them with like the word question in front of them. Jeff said, how long have you been thrifting? I've been reselling for probably since I was like 19 or 20. I'm going to be 30 this year. But I'm very seriously for the last like year and a half. Clothing for probably 3 years. Spencer just asked, wouldn't you need to do that quarterly, Luke? So yes, sort of. So because and this is a tax question more or less, and it's your situation. I did my taxes last year as using my individual Social Security number basically as a sole proprietor, not an LLC, nothing like that, just one tax return. And because of that, it pushes it all together. So this year I'll have to pay quarterly off of my total income bracket. Basically, whatever my taxes were last year, you pay quarterly for this. I don't need the exact calculation quarterly to do that because it's more just an estimate. However, I do it every month, Spencer. My tracking spreadsheet has it for me. So because I update it every day, I don't have that back-end work later where it's overwhelming. It's just all right there on my spreadsheet. So let me see if I can scroll up here. And Spencer asked, do you know what you have in inventory totals by brands? I do not, but I could pretty quickly look at my active listings, filter by brand, and figure it out if I wanted to. Let me see what else. All right, scrolling down. Jeff said, do you ever want to go full-time, reseller, or stay with part-time? And this is a question in my last video. I mean, the best answer I have for you is that right now what I have works. My business is still growing. I'm still engaged at work. I'm in a really good situation. I like the people I work with. So it's a really good balance. Once my business gets to a point where I can't grow it anymore, then I'll have to reevaluate if that's a choice I want to make. I'm honestly not sure. Like I couldn't tell you right now if that's an end goal or not, because I'm not sure if reselling all the time, every minute, every day would be fulfilling yet or not. I think that I'd have to have some balance. I think YouTube is nice for me. It's a nice outlet. I get to talk to other people who think the same way. I don't feel as lonely on an island as a reseller. Now that Shannon's reselling, my fiance, it may be a little more motivation and maybe more enjoyable as well. So I'm not really sure, but hopefully that answers your question, Jeff. Yeah, about 8 more minutes, guys, and then I have to hard stop and get back to listing. But any other questions, you guys, feel free to throw them out there. If you can too, in the comments, let me know what your listing goals are for March. I'm curious what everyone's doing, and, you know, what you're trying to accomplish. And there's no shame in your listing goal, by the way, guys. Everyone has a different schedule, has different outcomes, different expectations. Like, don't be ashamed of whatever it is. You know, you should share it, and it gives you accountability too. Biggest flip ever? Oh, probably. I think I've sold a. I don't know if that was it. Probably my Brooks Brothers Laurel Piana suit was like, it's like a $300 suit I sold way back when. That was like a year ago. That was probably my biggest one, Charles. Brett Miller said, do you track time to sell by pants, shirts, blazers? What do you mean by that? Time to sell, like how long they've been up for, or how long it takes me to list them, Brent? Atripa said 7 for All Mankind average sell cost. When you say sell cost, you mean cost per jean that I pay or selling price? So cost per jean, I always pay $5 off flat rate near me. Average selling price is probably around $30 for me. Women's probably like 40 for men's. Spencer said, question on mindset. You have a lot of inventory and it grows. So do you ever think you aren't moving enough of it? Spencer, no. So I take a very long-term approach. I try to get max value. Well, upper 75% like threshold for the value I think it can bring. And I just wait for that perfect buyer. I'd rather my inventory grow because then my business scales. And like, that's how I can do more per month, is if my inventory grows at a rate faster than I'm selling, then my business continues to grow. So that's always kind of, and what's going to happen, guys, is I'm going to hit a threshold as a part-time reseller where the back end work, so shipping out too many sales, is taking up so much of my time that my business starts degrading itself. I'll probably just raise my prices 15 or 20% to slow down my sell-through, still max out and still hold my sales, but I'll have less effort on the back end. So it's really the perfect, what you would say, quote unquote, perfect business model when you don't need your business for anything. Because I have a job and I don't touch my business and the profit from my business, I can afford to do that. Not everyone can afford to do that, of course. But if you can, I highly suggest it. Entrepreneur said he hit his goal of 110 after watching our videos. Trying to do 250. That's awesome. Well, good luck. No doubt you're going to get it if you put the right effort there. Looking to do 100K this year, Viper said. That's awesome. Unless you're referring to what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. Jeff said, where do you get most of your inventory? Goodwill retail stores. I don't really enjoy the bins that much. Edward said regional A, B boxes, certain areas. Yeah, so they're cheaper basically to certain regions in the country based on where you are. And you can order the boxes for free on USPS.com. Brent Miller said, how long till they sell? So I don't track that specifically, but I have a really good idea. When I look at an item, I can pretty much remember the rough time frame I listed it. And my backgrounds, my backdrops have changed over time. So if it's a certain backdrop, I can really tell what period I listed it in. But I don't track that specifically because I'm a long-term seller, so I don't care if it takes something a year to sell. It costs me effectively $1.20 to list it for the entire year. So it doesn't really eat into my margin that much, so I don't mind waiting for it to sell. Zach the Flipping Maniac said, tried for 400, not even close. So, that's okay, Zach. I'd rather you set big goals, because even if you got halfway there, it's probably bigger than if you set the attainable goal, A. B, I am going to call the video after March wraps up on adjusting your effort, not adjusting your goal, but that'll be for a different video. Spencer said inventory turn. Yeah, okay. Chicago Crown Hustler says he's aiming for 10 a day. That's an awesome goal. No doubt you can do that, Chicago, for sure. Where I run into constraints is making sure I source enough inventory to consistently list per day. Johnny asked, Luke, I was wondering if we can set up a buy one, get one sales in our store. I believe you can, but I haven't ever tried. So if you do, shoot me an email and let me know how it goes and if it was successful or not, because I honestly haven't experimented with that. David C. said, just moved from a basic store to premium store, 25 to 30 items per day now. Will be a change to get this done. Yeah, that's a lot of items per day, but if you're focused on it and you have the time to allocate, you definitely could do it. Nope. Charles has said, thanks for pushing me to set goals. Currently doing about 1,000 in sales a month, but just doing it when I feel like it's going to start setting listing goals. Awesome, Charles. That's awesome. Well, think about that. If you get real focused, you're doing 1,000 a month now. I can't imagine what you'll be doing. Keep me updated how that's going. That's pretty exciting. Jessica said, I'm happy if I list 20 to 30, but with working full-time and having a 4-year-old at home, I'm good with that for now until I can get the hang. Yeah, that's impressive. And that's what I mean. Everyone's situation is unique, right? You maximize the time you have available. I mean, that's impressive, Jessica. Good job. And no doubt it'll slowly creep up. As you get more efficient and better, it'll just keep getting, you'll have more and more time. You'll see it start to expand. Gently Love Brand said, goal to reach the bottom of my death mountain. I like that. I don't even know how many items that is, and to stay out of thrift stores until then, which will be hard. Yes, staying out of the thrift stores is the hard part when you start to stockpile. Stick with it. You'll get through it. Jeff, check out some of my, Jeff asked what brands are worth selling for blazers. Check out some of my sales update videos. It'll give you some really good ideas of ones that have sold. All right, I'm going to scroll down here. Tony Anderson said, what is your honey hole in Charlotte Goodwill coming next Thursday? Oh, you want me to give away all the secrets where I find my stuff, huh, Tony? No, I don't mind. I mean, honestly, I hit all the stores around here. The Weddington Goodwill has been fantastic for me. Probably my next favorite after that is on the north side of Charlotte. I really like I think it's the Cornelius one. It's near Lake Norman. There's some really good stuff up there. But all of them are really good around here, Tony. You really can't go wrong. It's all fixed price, and there's tons of inventory. Denver asked what's my bookkeeping schedule. My 99% of my bookkeeping is honestly done using my daily tracker. So I don't really have a ton at the end of the year. I use MileIQ to track all my mileage. And so it's just that produces a report. It summarizes it. My supplies I enter in on a monthly basis, and everything else is tracked on a daily basis. So it's done pretty easily and doesn't take a lot of time at all. Tony asks, how many items approximately do I list per day? So my goal is usually to list 12 per day. This month's been kind of real wonky on me, and I've been listing in huge ebbs and flows. But I'm planning to get back to that this next month, hopefully. Let me see. And the battery on this laptop is dropping quickly, so I am going to wrap up here in 2 or 3 minutes. Hi, Chris. Thanks for inviting us, Spencer. Appreciate it. How do you ship your sports coats? So, Drummer, I ship them in, usually most of them go in flat rate cardboard envelopes. If they don't fit in there, they just go in a standard poly bag, priority usually, or regional A or B if it'll fit. Let me see. Hey, it's Porsche. Being a quick flipper is definitely more time consuming. Shipped about 49 items yesterday and it took forever. Yeah, and that model works for a lot of people, and it really just depends on your situation. For me, because I'm in a really fortunate position, I don't need the cash flow right now. So it's easier for me to be a long-term seller, get max value, and limit the time I spend shipping and doing all the back-end work so my business can grow. Fred, yeah, so I've had a lot of people, I've experimented with that, Fred. Fred said you should pre-package and weigh when you list. So I have mixed feelings about that. I think it can be very efficient. What I have found is occasionally I'll mismark an item, not the weight, but the inventory number, and I need to find it. And so I always want to confirm when I'm packaging that it's the correct item. So I'm already packaging it and I'm right by my scale. So weighing it on the back end doesn't really, I'm not saving any time either way. And I would rather get the listing up quicker and get the item prepped faster and have the time on the back end, just because the money flows from the listing. So that's just my philosophy. I don't think one is better than the other. That's just what works for me. Jessica said, no, don't tell me about Lake Norman. Sorry, Jessica. I know that's your stomping grounds up there. Spencer said, oh, I sold the YSL suit I asked you about. Yeah. YSL is nice. It shipped in a padded flat rate. Wow. Good job. I can't believe you fit that in there. Brian said all those bankers in Charlotte, good donation. Yes, we have a nice flow of donations of clothing here. Spencer said maybe we'll see you in Austin this summer. Yeah, I'm planning. I think the Green Room meetup is down there. I think it's in Austin, I believe. I'll be going to it either way. So if any of you are Green Room members and you're heading down there, you'll definitely get to see me. Denver said, can you please post this session on YouTube? I came late. Yeah, every live recording, Denver, will always be on my channel afterwards, so you can rewatch it. Oh, Tony, you are not doing bad at 10 per day. That is super impressive. I mean, that is very good. So congrats to you on that. Charles Hurley said, can't find your email in the about section. Can you say it? Yeah. So it's entrepreneursllc@gmail.com. And guys, I have a website that's just about to launch. It's just a WordPress site, but for like my spreadsheet, my tracking spreadsheet, I have like a store subscription one I put together so you can figure out when to upgrade. Things like that. I pretty much solely created it so I can blog on there and I can have the free resources for you guys to grab instead of having to email you. Fred said, put your sticky note on a closed poly bag to identify. Yeah, agreed, Fred. It's more effort on the front end for me. And for me, it slows me down to getting the item actively listed. It's just my approach. When I scale and get employees at some point in the far future, that will be the approach I take, Fred, for sure, because it just makes more sense. And I just have to eat the mistakes, basically. GB said, how important are eBay followers? I have no idea. I've never paid attention. I don't think that important probably because most people are unique buyers. You don't get a ton of repeat business as a clothing reseller because it's a very unique purchase. Viper said, put in a clear poly so you can see the item, then put into regular poly or flat rate and ship off. That's what I do. Yeah, that's how I store mine too. I store them in a clear poly with an inventory number taped on it. That's what works for me, but that's just my inventory system. All right, guys, I need to wrap up because I think this laptop's going to die and I need to keep listing. So appreciate everyone stopping in. I hope your Marches are coming to a really good finish and wrapping up with a lot of strong sales. I will have a sales update video out this weekend to kind of as a March reflection and a Q1 reflection and just show you how the first quarter's gone for me. So good luck, guys. Get to work, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.